we did it in the 90s, son! I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out. I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out. Right down.
We may not look like it, but we are actually kind of hip.
I'm praying for an asteroid.
Hey, and we're live, ladies, gents, boys, girls, children of all ages. Welcome to a show about shows presents The Countdown, episode 17, as we talk about our favorite movies of the year 2022. And oh boy, what a year it was. I think I said I'm JPO, right? If not, hey, I'm JPO for the second time. And we got a very special guest this week. You might have seen him from Down to Movie. It's the Rickster. Rick, how are you?
What's going on, man? Just want to talk about some movies from 2022.
What? I had my 2021 list. Oh shit. So yeah, how many movies did you see? Did you like the year? What's your overall thoughts?
You know, before we did this, I was kind of looking through my Letterboxd, which I use religiously. I'm a patron member of Letterboxd. I love it. I watched.
Shout out to Letterboxd.
Yeah, big time. Join Letterboxd and follow both of us if you don't already. Yeah, I mean, I watched 103 movies this year, and I kind of looked at stats compared to past years, and I actually have 76 movies at 3 stars or higher, and I like to think I'm a fairly tough critic when it comes to rating. So to have 76 movies at 3 stars or better is pretty crazy to me. So I would say it's a good year. Either that, or I'm just being more selective and not watching crap. I don't know. I was telling you, I have 115, 120 movies that are on my to watch list still from last year. So,
what did you not get around to? What is on that list that you still haven't seen that you really do want to get done from the year 2022?
Yeah, I kind of jotted down just a few things. After Sun, which is an A24 flick, Bones and All with Timothée Chalamet, Broker, Decision to Leave, The Gray Man, because I'm a huge Ryan Gosling mark. Empire of Light, I was pretty curious about with Olivia Colman. The Pale Blue Light, Piggy, which was
Pale Blue Light's this year, isn't it?
See, that's one of those things.
That's one of those nerdy things where some say 2022.
I have A Man Called Otto because came out the end.
That's
of
right on
year,
the that depends on where you look. I feel like Pale Blue is definitely that's really a 2020. I don't know.
Prey, I didn't get a chance to see. I've heard a lot of good things about that. Stars at Noon, Tar is getting a lot of buzz. At first I was like, meh. Triangle of Sadness looks like a lot of fun. Violent Night, I didn't see.
Ooh, get to that one.
G. Del Toro's Pinocchio.
Yeah, I saw the other one. Never saw that one.
Worst Person in the World, which again, it was out in 2021 overseas, but wasn't available anytime here till mid-22. And then the movie I'm going to see tomorrow night, The Whale.
Yeah, I was just say,
I'm very, very excited to check out The Whale.
Yeah, several of yours are on my watch list as well. A couple of those I haven't even heard of, so you definitely got a big list there. I've seen Prey, I've seen Violent Night, so maybe I'll talk, maybe I won't. Yeah, The Whale. Actually, I haven't seen the second Avatar. That's definitely a big one for me. That is not going to be on the list because just didn't get a chance to see it these last few weeks. I think this is pretty much all the biggies as far as I know. If you kind of mentioned them, Tar is one I have not seen. That's kind of getting some buzz and whatnot. So.
Yeah, Avatar. I'm not a big fan of the first one. So
I like the first one, but it's also been a long time. My energy is gone.
Yeah, not a lot of interest. I didn't see Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I'll watch that. I think it comes to Disney Plus next month in physical, so I'll check it out because I'm still a Marvel fan, but I'm really getting burnt out. Although I am excited about Ant-Man and Guardians this year. I love those movies.
I will say maybe a bit of a spoiler in a way here. Yeah, it's definitely most years, sometimes the top 10. I have at least two, if not maybe 3 comic book movies here. It's not like that this year. Yeah, the slate hasn't been bad. I enjoyed Wakanda. I enjoyed Doctor Strange, but I'll go ahead and say they're not on my list this year. They didn't quite reach the levels of the previous ones.
I was going to say I have 2 superhero movies that are right outside honorable mentions, right outside.
Well, let's not bury the lead anymore. Give us some honorable mentions and shoot in your number 10.
So honorable mentions for me, the stuff I have 15 through 11, if you will. I have Lightyear, a movie that got a lot of hate from the woke movement, anti-woke movement that's going on right now.
He must hate Strange World then, because Strange World doesn't has it
I
even more.
Yeah, I have not seen Strange World. That's another movie I need to watch from 22. But I loved Lightyear. I'm a huge Toy Story fan. The Fablemans, the new Steven Spielberg movie, I really enjoyed that. Although I had second act issues, which I think kept me from top 10. Ambulance, which I personally enjoyed a lot more than you did, is my understanding. Spoiler alert.
It's fine. It's a
I
very
was
passable
surprised.
action flick. 3 stars, no more.
Yeah, I went into it, I guess, with zero expectations, and I don't know. I liked Yahya Abdul-Mateen's performance, and Gyllenhaal is like kind of the jerk was kind of a fun time. Elvis, I was a big fan of. I thought Austin Butler was awesome. And then Don't Worry, Darling was really close to being on my top 10, which once again is something we don't necessarily agree on, but I really liked it. I thought it was a great follow up for Olivia Wilde, follow up to Booksmart. And yeah, so those are my honorable mentions. Do you want to talk yours, or should I go right into 10?
You go to your number 10. Let's see what actually did crack the list.
Number 10, probably a movie that hardly anybody has seen, is a movie called Pleasure. So it is a movie about the adult film industry. It is almost like a realistic or 2022 look at the porn industry. Almost like a more serious Boogie Nights. The main actress, Sophia Kappel, is basically in the movie, and then it's a bunch of adult film stars in the movie with her. There's some really intense stuff, a lot of like the different types of films in that industry, and how they're, like this scene here, she's doing this crazy BDSM stuff, and everybody is super nice to her when like they're not filming, and then she does other stuff that's more like mainstream, and she's being like essentially assaulted while doing it, and like how important social media is for adult film stars. And it was a dark movie, but like couldn't look away, wanted to see what was going to happen next. And it gets really dark in places, but it was really, really good. So that is my number 10, Pleasure.
I don't know. Very good. That's one that I haven't even heard of, actually. So you're right. No, but I always happy to hear about some films that maybe got overlooked by some. Interesting. Very interesting. Maybe I noticed some of those. I've seen a couple of those actors before. All right, my number 10.
Research for the video, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm a movie buff. I gotta, look up their filmographies when I'm alone. My number 10 is The Black Phone. I got coming in at number 10 here. Really cool, interesting horror flick. I remember it gave me kind of vibes of like a Stephen King movie, which is not surprising when later on you find out that his son helped craft the story here. Joe Hill, which I guess is Stephen King's son here. Because there's a little bit of a supernatural element going on in here as well. But two great kid performances are kind of at the main front here, as well as Ethan Hawke giving a really great performance that's 80% behind a mask. You know what I mean, man? It's not, and I could see why, he would be drawn to a performance like this, because, like I said, he's got to be behind the mask, but it's all about the way he speaks and his movements and whatnot. And it's still a really good performance that shines through, even with the handicap of, not being able to see him for the majority of it here. Like I said, I was really into the story of how it was going to end up here. I really enjoyed the performances here. Jeremy Davies as well, from Saving Private Ryan, as the alcoholic dad who, is railing against, his kids who might or might not have these kind of powers, and as well as an interesting kind of tagline to this. So, Scott Derrickson, who's of course done horror before with Ethan Hawke, I think he's starting to craft a really cool filmography. So, number 10 for me was The Black Phone. As we move on to your number 9.
I want to piggyback on your 10 really quick.
Sure.
I'll try not to keep doing this. I will
Go ahead.
say,
No, do it.
I'm not a big horror. I mean, I like horror movies. I'm not like some massive horror fan. I don't need to like watch every horror movie. I will say 2022 for me probably one of the better years of horror recently. I had lots of movies that were at that 3-star higher level. A few are like genre benders, if you will, but stuff like, Scream and X and Pearl and, Barbarian, Smile, and Black Phone were all just excellent, like, horror movies. So, and this year's starting out good with Megan. So, but that is it. I just want to say it's been a good year.
No,
horror,
for
in my
sure. No,
opinion.
yeah, a lot of horror fans that have said that here, and I do recommend pretty much everything you just said here. Some of them are kind of outside the list, but yeah, even Smile was something where like initially I was kind of whatever for it, and then yeah, it's really paced well and a good leading
Yeah.
performance here, and yeah, everything you said is good here for horror. Barbarian, I think definitely that one should be checked out, and some genre bending ones too. I mean, The Menu, Nope, you know what I mean? Like there's other ones that are like kind of walking that line.
Maybe we'll talk about them in the next after now. Number 9 for me, though, is the Netflix exclusive Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, which I actually went to go see in theaters, and about 2 minutes into the film, the theater lost power, and I was not able
That's
to see it
right.
in theaters. Literally 2 minutes in, the first scene where, it opens with Catherine Hahn getting a package, and she goes, "What's that?" And the power went out in the whole theater. So I guess luckily it wasn't like 45 minutes in, because it showed a month before it was on Netflix, and that would have been really annoying to be like 45 minutes in, especially seeing the movie and being like, "Oh, I guess I'll wait a month now to see how it ends." But Ryan Johnson really, I think he's really found his niche with like the murder mystery whodunit film. Compared to Death on the Nile, which I think it was also a 2022 movie, if I remember correctly.
It was.
Which, for me, very forgettable. It felt very drawn out, and this is a movie that has like a 2 hour and 20-minute runtime. It's just so much fun. Like, I'll say the mystery in this one, I felt was probably maybe one of the weaker aspects, because I kind of made a comment when something happened, and it ended up, being what I thought it was. But fun performances. Daniel Craig is great as Benoit Blanc. Edward Norton, so good to see back in a movie. I'm a huge Edward Norton fan. The last thing he did, I think, was Motherless Brooklyn, maybe.
Who?
But I feel like Motherless Brooklyn, he directed. He had like a.
Who
like
did?
A gangster
Oh,
movie.
Norton. Yeah.
Dave Bautista is so great in this movie. I'm pumped for Knock at the Cabin to see him.
Yeah.
Janelle Monáe, who was really good in it. Catherine Hahn, Kate Hudson, just a very solid cast. And I feel like Janelle Monáe is becoming one of those actresses who's sneakily like, she's been in a lot of really good stuff, and she's been consistent in that stuff. Antebellum, which I really enjoyed, Hidden Figures, Moonlight. She's good, and she kind of is the lead in this movie, which you don't really expect going into it. And it's a fun time. Leslie Odom Jr., I mean, like I said, for me, just a fun whodunit with comedy and some, like, I guess, takes on the modern era, and the COVID stuff was really funny. Like the girl wearing the mesh mask that didn't do anything, and fun cameo from the person who gave them their medicine before they went on an island. And just a good time. Glass Onion was a lot of fun for me, so that is my number 9.
Very good. Number 9 here. Some may say you have it too low. Some may say my number 9 is too low, but I'll take it. I'm going to talk about Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, you put that face away. This is one I did sleep on for a little bit here, because I don't really have much of attachment in any way to the OG Top Gun here. I think it's, especially watching it now, it feels very 80s to me. Not that that's a bad thing, but it just doesn't really capture me here. But this is it's a well-made film here, man. From, again, kind of the little side performances here, Miles Teller, who I think is a fantastic actor here, kind of playing the, one of the major side roles here. Tom Cruise shines. It's really good at kind of handling several things at once. A little bit of a relationship with Jennifer Connelly, which never feels forced and feels pretty organic as well here. And then really a great, final sequence as well. The final thing kind of does have you on the edge of your seat, kind of wondering kind of necessarily where it's going to go. If he's, I don't want to go too far into it, but the final sequence just thought was handled very well here. It's a sleekly shot movie. That was a lot of fun here. That's why I kind of lit America on fire here. Maybe saved the theaters, as some said. So it was a good, fun flick here. Well, we're checking out, having fun with Top Gun Maverick.
Maybe we'll talk about that one again later as well. I will say I may have peeked at your list, and I'm sure you peeked at mine.
How dare you? No, I have respect for this countdown. I never looked at your list.
There's a lot of similarities, a few differences, and we're kind of like polar opposites on like 2 or 3 titles, in my opinion. But speaking of that, my number 8 is the film. Who's it directed by? Helena Rajin. I probably did not pronounce her name right. And that is Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Oh.
An A24 horror comedy film that stars Amanda. Oh man, I'm gonna butcher her name. It's Amanda Stenberg, I believe, is how you pronounce her name. I always want to say it's Amanda. She was in The Hate U Give. That's what I remember her most from. Pete Davidson is very funny in this movie. Maria Bakalova from Borat, subsequent movie film. And then the standout of this movie, in my opinion, hands down the best part, Rachel Snow, who was in I want to say it was 2020, 2021, the movie Shiva Baby, kind of when she became on the radar for me, her breakout thing. And this is just like a fun, I guess I'm an old man now. I'm in my late 30s, and I feel like this movie was almost an attack or a look at the millennial Gen Z and how self-involved they are. They're concerned at this hurricane party about their electronics and their social medias when they should be worrying about like this life-threatening event, and they're having a party and just doing stupid stuff. And it's just, it was a lot of fun for me. I remember seeing the movie laughing out loud at several parts. Pete Davidson is really funny in it, but like I said, Rachel Snow, in my opinion, steals this movie every time she is on screen. And just, I thought it was just a fun time. The movie, it was just fun. Like, it was a good time at the movies, and I thought it was clever. I thought it upset a lot of people, and a lot of younger people didn't like it because it was knocking on how they act, and they just don't want to admit it, the entitlement and stuff. But maybe that's me as a 38-year-old man watching it, but I enjoyed it. Bodies, 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 number 8 for me.
I didn't mind it. It's a very polarizing flick. This is one of those fun ones where I know you're not alone in like really loving it, but then there's other people that are like, I think hated it. I'm in the middle because I agree with a lot of what you said, but there was just points where even I know I'm supposed to be annoyed, but like that does take away from the enjoyment for me for a little bit here. But it was definitely an interesting, worth checked out piece. Lee Pace is a lot of fun too as the kind of older guy, and Davidson's really good too because he's kind of like, he's at times a comedic relief, but at times he's also just kind of a dick, and like he kind of plays a different version than what you've seen Pete Davidson do in the past. And
because a lot of times, Pete Davidson honestly so much is himself and what he's in.
Right.
And sometimes
that's what this is different.
Like Big Time Adolescence, he was fantastic as a version of himself. But it's like, what kind of range do you have? Like, are you just going to be Pete Davidson in every movie?
Well, he was in our favorite movie, Meet Cute, which was not seen enough.
Eternal Sunshine 2.0.
Hey, first of all,
I didn't.
Hold on. No, you can't. No, stop. You can't say that and not let me rebut that. It wants to be. It's not quite 2.0 because Eternal Sunshine is way better. So please don't compare it.
I do have to. We joke around about it a lot on trivia and everything. I do need to revisit that, but that movie, I remember watching it for college in my film class and writing a paper called "The Eternal Sunshine of a Boring Ass Movie." Like that's how I felt
Ladies and
about
gentlemen,
it.
this show is over. If you would like to see the rest of
Like,
my list, it's on Letterboxd.
like I said, I will give
Rick
it a
will no
chance.
longer be in trivia.
I
You will
will
not see Rick
revisit
on
it.
Countdown.
That was a
Um,
young, like college. That was a young, immature Rick. I will revisit it at some point. This year's the
I
year
must
that
have been
left.
I must have been a melancholy 15-year-old then, because I saw it. I'm probably 16, because it was I got it from the library at the VHS, and I loved it from the first viewing.
I don't know if I don't know. It just did not do anything for me, and I know a lot of people love it, and I don't know. What's your number 8, man?
I don't even want to talk about it.
Is it
anymore,
Eternal
man.
Sunshine?
No, it would be. I was gonna say too. I didn't even realize that was the Hate You Give girl.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. That she's obviously a little older now. So yeah, a good love. I love the Hate You Gave, and she's really good in that too. So
Yeah.
My number 8 is it's basically my response to you saying you don't like Eternal Sunshine, which is nope. No. I'm gonna go Jordan Peele's Nope, which has actually grown on me even more. If you had told me that after the first viewing that still at the end of the year it would be in my top 10, I probably actually wouldn't have totally believed you, because I liked it, but I didn't necessarily like love it. But I think I've really grown, to enjoy it more here. I think a second viewing is just kind of bringing up a notch here. Keke Palmer I think is fantastic, because she kind of steals the show. Is the reason she did Saturday Night Live a couple weeks ago. She's very entertaining here. Daniel Kaluuya is a much more kind of subdued performance here, but he's always good. And just the mystery, the way it's shot here. I think he's performed a pretty good horror trilogy. Not an official trilogy, but as far as this, Us, and Get Out from Peele, I think are all worth watching here. And I think this has gone bumped up to my second favorite of his after Get Out. I think I actually would put this over Us now at the moment. And I think there's a lot at play here, and he's got also some good side characters as well. And I just I really enjoyed where he went with this here. Kind of some Western elements here, and really unique film here that I think still at the end of the year I was still thinking about, still kind of going back to. So my number 8 was Nope.
Yes. Oh, my number 7. You and I kind of briefly talked about Apple Plus before we went live, and we talked about how out of all the streaming services, they kind of seem to be more focused on quality over content.
Raymond and Ray.
Quality over quantity. Quantity over quality.
Quality over quantity.
And a perfect example of that would be Cooper Raiff's second feature film after his first one. Are we allowed to curse on this channel?
Just watch your fucking mouth, Rick.
Okay. So Cooper Raiff had directed a film called Shithouse, which was basically just about a college kid who goes out to a party, and his follow-up was Cha Cha Real Smooth, in which he not only writes and directs, but also stars in, is basically a 22-year-old kid who I believe is on his break after junior year of college, if I'm not mistaken. And he basically becomes a party starter for bar and bat mitzvahs, which is just wild that every Jewish kid in the area he lived in was having a 13th birthday party
in the short time frame.
Span. But he then meets Dakota Johnson, who I believe the daughter's name is Lola, and she's kind of a very shy girl, and he kind of like gets her into dancing, or not dancing, but like talks to her and basically forms a bond with her. And then he has a thing for Dakota Johnson, who's in a weird relationship. But Cooper Raiff in this movie is just so lovable, and you feel for him because like there are parts where you're smiling and laughing at the screen. There he is dancing with Lola in the clip there. He's just like, every time he's on screen, he like brings a smile to your face and you feel for him. He's in love with Dakota Johnson, and he's getting mixed signals. He's a young kid. It's that classic coming of age movie, which once again is a 38-year-old. I don't know if I appreciate that more now, but it seems to be like that genre, like having a 12-year-old kid especially. I just have an appreciation for a really good coming of age movie, and Cha Cha Real Smooth is that. It's funny, but there's also some drama aspects to it that are really good. It's just like I said, Cooper Raiff now, in my opinion, 2 for 2. Shithouse isn't the most amazing movie. It's basically him bonding with a girl and spending one night together after this party. And but he wrote and directed and starred in that too. And he seems to be a really talented young filmmaker. So my number 7 is Cha Cha Real Smooth.
A really cool pick here. In fact, so much so that it just dawned on me I screwed up the format of my show and never said my honorable mentions because this is an honorable mention here in the top 15. Really dug this movie as well here. Started more actually recently. I think in the last month it was when I finally got back to on Apple that I hadn't seen and really liked it, man. Like I said, Cooper's got some charm, just a really well told story. So it's an honorable mention for me. My other 4 are Vengeance with BJ Novak was a really big surprise here. One of my least favorite Office members wrote a really fun screenplay here. Ashton Kutcher's really great. The Menu is actually right outside of my top 10 as well here. Great, interesting flick, some great laughs, great finds. Nicholas Hoult are great. Scream does make an honorable mention for me as well. Great return to form for Scream. Very much looking forward to 6 coming out soon. I am pumped. Yeah. And Weird, the Al Yankovic story, is also right outside in my honorables as well here. Fun Daniel Radcliffe spoof mockumentary in a way. But now my number 7, going back to the format of the show here, we did get a bit of superhero-y here in my list here because I'm gonna go with the Batman. At first I was a little against it just in the sense of we have a Batman, it's Affleck, or what I mean, like
we have multiple Batman.
We've seen Batman recently. Do we already need another reboot here? But all I asked for was something a little different than what we've had before, and I feel they very much delivered on that here. This is a different Batman that you've seen on screen before here. Definitely emphasis on the Batman as well. He does overshadow Bruce Wayne, but the Batman parts I think are great here, from the fights to Matt Reeves, who did the last 2 Planet of the Apes movies, which were really good here. So I'm happy to see him getting another big shot like this, and it works here. This is the best Gotham has ever been. Gotham is a real kind of character in this movie here. You really feel that they're in this kind of sunken, almost dystopian, almost like city of, that is corrupt here, and it's the most you've ever felt here. Catwoman, of course, Penguin, Colin Farrell, unrecognizable, putting in a great performance here. The Riddler stuff is maybe why it's not as high. I'm a little iffy on the Riddler to a degree, but I liked it for the most part here. His introduction, I think, is great and well-paced. This almost feels like it almost feels like, like a grittier R-rated version sometimes, but it keeps it, honed in enough for the PG-13 rating. I just, this, and it left me with the best feeling, more so than the Doctor Strange or Black Panther. This left me with the feeling of, I can't wait to return to this world. I want to go back to Gotham. I want to see what's going on. I want to see Volume 2 now, please. So, which is what you want to do at the end of the day. Leave me wanting more, and it did that. So, the Batman does come in at number 7.
Yeah, I when it comes to Batman, like I kind of mentioned, that was kind of right. That was the next movie. That was number 16 for me. My favorite comic book film of the year. And now that I remember his name, because we're not doing trivia, I will say I'm very excited for the second Batman to see Barry Keoghan. I mean, that's how I say his name. I'm sure it's not it because he's Irish, but
Keoghan. Yeah, I think you're about right.
As the Joker teased in the film, I am totally on board. Barry Keoghan is friggin' awesome. Like a movie that I'm not going to talk about, but Banshees of Inisherin. He's the best part of that movie, hands down. Killing of a Sacred Deer, Dunkirk. Another real young, good young actor. He's good in the movie. So Barry Keoghan, yeah, I'm on board with Batman 2, and I enjoyed the Batman 2 also. Anyway, my number 6 is a movie you may have just mentioned in your delayed honorable mentions. And that is Mark Mylad's The Menu, which Mark Mylod, if you're not familiar, the last movie I believe he directed was What's Your Number with Anna Faris and Chris Evans.
What?
Yep.
I didn't know
Which,
that.
don't get me wrong, a very fun R-rated sex
okay.
comedy, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Maybe I need to revisit. It's been a while, but
me too.
you get this very dark comedy with horror elements mixed in, and it is a good time. Rafe Fiennes is awesome in this movie. Anya Taylor-Joy, um, she is, man. I'm telling you, I'm excited for I guess the new generation of actors and actresses in Hollywood. You mentioned Miles Teller earlier, Barry Keoghan, Anya Taylor-Joy. Like, there's so many young actors, actresses, filmmakers that I'm really like excited about the future of film and cinema. This is another fun look at basically a restaurateur who is tired of like all these food bloggers and exclusivity and people who are so full of themselves and tearing other people down. And it's just like there's so many interesting looks at things. It's on HBO Max now, and it's definitely one that I'm going to get on physical media in the very near future. I just remember like being so invested throughout the entire runtime, and like I said, laughing at the movie. There's some creepy, intense stuff in the movie that just worked really well. John Leguizamo is like the actor who's kind of washed up, and it's just a really good time. And I keep saying it's a really good time, but I guess in this day and age, like, I just want to go to a movie and be entertained, and like, I don't know. I feel like stuff in the last couple of years has been so many like sequels, or like, you'll notice, I want to say, let's look at my list without any spoilers. 2 of the movies, I guess, are sequels technically, but the rest are all original movies. And I guess I'm getting burnout on the superhero movies and stuff like that. And when you see a movie like The Menu, that's a fun, original idea. You know, the trailer almost made it look like The Pest, the John Leguizamo classic. So to see him in The Menu, like, because they're like, are people being like, what's going on? I don't want to do any spoilers, but like the way they make the trailer seem, you're not sure, but it's a fun time. So The Menu is my number 6.
No, it's a good one here. I do feel what you're saying about kind of more original content here. This was a decent year for that, because looking at my list, I would say 3 of them are either continuations or sequels, the Batman being the third. So and that's technically, however you want to put it, a reboot, whatever. And 2 of them are kind of more direct sequels, which is not bad, because there's definitely your past years where it is like my top 10 is 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, you know. Number 3, number 2, another Captain America, another this, you know what I mean? So good kind of notice there. My number 6, you talked about it kind of briefly with our boy Barry. I do have the Banshees of Inisherin on my list here. Does this one just, man, it lived up to the hype here. This is one I did happen to see on whatever platform, HBO Max. There you go. So I didn't see it in theaters. I waited for home. You got 4 great performances here actually at the forefront. Everyone knows about Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, but Keegan, as well as, and I do apologize, the main female actress too, as well, is fantastic in this.
That plays Farrell's sister, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's the sister is absolutely great in this as well. So another thing to write home about. It subverts some expectations here. It can be kind of like The Menu in a way, as far as, it can be darkly funny at points here. You do laugh out loud a couple of times. It's a unique kind of worldview here of during an old Irish war. Barry Keoghan, very great character performance as well. I could see why you could say he kind of is the show stealer here, because he kind of has the most unique character maybe of them all. And this is a movie where a guy threatens to cut off his finger. It's just a great tale of just I don't even know, like, it's not something I think I've seen 100 times before, of a friendship, of getting fed up with somebody here, and the lengths people will go, and even at the end I still wasn't 100% sure where it was going to go, which is a good thing in movies. So number 6, Banshees of Inisherin, as we are now approaching the top of our list.
To follow up on that, Carrie Condon, let's give her a proper.
There we go. Okay, Condon. I know she's watching.
I enjoyed the movie. I guess I wanted more background. Like you're thrown into this idea where Brendan Gleeson doesn't want to be his friend. It doesn't really. I don't know. It was the movie's beautiful. That was probably my favorite part next to Keegan. Just the cinematography of the film and the set location of the movie just looked absolutely gorgeous. And I'm glad I saw it. Like you said, it's an original concept, which, like I said, I crave that nowadays. So, number 5. Speaking of original concepts and unique films, a movie that seems to be beloved in the film nerd 2022 list genre is a film called Everything Everywhere All at Once. A movie that had hot dog fingers in it, that had everything bagels, no pun intended, and an amazing performance by Michelle Yeoh. And this movie was everything. It was a comedy movie. It was an action film. It was a family drama. It was everything, everywhere, all at once. I did not get a chance to
No one's
see
ever
it.
done that before.
It was a movie I did not get a chance to see in theaters. I actually blind bought the 4K, so as soon as it came out in physical media, I could watch it. Jamie Lee Curtis has a fun role in this movie. Harry Shum Jr. What's the character Harry Shum Jr. carries around? I can't think. I think I mentioned it in my review.
Data?
No, it's what was the character? Oh, Raccacoonie, voiced by Randy Newman. Raccacoonie that Harry Shum Jr. Carries around. It's just like there's parts of the movie that were so outrageous while watching it that I laughed out loud numerous times. And like I said, just action and comedy and like part kung fu movie. I was saying to Bridget, my girlfriend, that for the two main leads, or in my opinion, two main leads, Michelle Yeoh and Stephanie Sue, I want to say, plays her daughter. The amount of costume changes and choices they got to have in this movie, I would assume was a blast for them to like shoot and be in. Like just looking at this trailer that you're showing, the amount of different wardrobes and costumes, like this should win best costume at the Oscars. Although one movie that I might talk about in a few would rival that, but just Everything Everywhere All at Once was a real fun time. Definitely not a movie you've seen before, and I look forward to seeing what the filmmakers, I believe Daniel Kwan and I think it's Daniel something else. Let me just click. Daniel Scheinert. Just an original idea, and I think it's going to get a lot of Oscar love, and just it was a fun time. So that is my number 5.
Very
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, we're at number 5. Let's go to my number 5. Bullet Train here, man. Just if you want to say fun time, this is the epitome of the fun time at the theater here. Again, we love shining off our cast here. They got a lot of people that are here to play here. Joey King, who I think is a little undersung as an actor, she's fun in this. You get Michael Shannon getting him some fun at the end here, and spurts of even Sandy Bullock. In here as well. I feel like this in Lost City, they all just borrowed each other's cast a little bit. Aaron Taylor Johnson, Brian Tyree Henry. There's talks of, or at least fan talk of, maybe doing a prequel with them because they're a lot of fun. They're a great twofer in this as well here. And poor old Brad Pitt just wants to get off the train here, get that briefcase, and move on. And it's funny, it's violent, it's kind of just what you want from just a fun R-rated. David Leitch from Deadpool 2, I think, is the director here. So, just a fun time at the theaters here. I remember even kind of late last year kind of seeing the tagline for this movie and thinking like, oh, okay, that's a pretty simple but fun tagline, and it absolutely executes it, I think, to a pretty good degree here. So I had a lot of fun. Number 5, Bullet Train. Hey, look, it's WWE alumni, Bad Bunny.
Yeah, when the trailer came out, I said this needs to be rated R, and I was glad to see that they made it rated R, because I think if they watered it down to a PG-13, it would not have been nearly as fun as that movie was, and we definitely need a Lemon and Tangerine prequel. Let's make it happen. My number 4 is from Jeremiah Zeger, and it is a film called Hustle, a Netflix exclusive starring Adam Sandler, who has now made, two amazing basketball dramas in the last, 3 years now. Uncut Gems, my favorite movie.
Oh, okay. I guess that's a basketball drama. Yeah. I was like, what?
Definitely, basketball ties into the story quite a lot, and both being tied to the Philadelphia area, which I'm from. The Sixers were the team he was betting on in Uncut Gems, and he is a scout for the 76ers in this film, where he is, like I said, a scout. He's trying to get a job in the main office, and the owner, I guess this is a small spoiler, it happens in the first 20 minutes. The owner passes away and his son's an asshole and takes over the team. That happens in the very beginning of the movie. It's not a spoiler. Anyway, he makes him become a scout, and he finds Bo Cruz, who's played by a basketball player whose name I will not try to pronounce. His wife is Queen Latifah. Ben Foster plays the son that is a jerk. And there's tons, like I said, as a Philadelphia native, tons of Sixers alumni, past, present, and NBA folks throughout the movie. And it's just a very well done drama about like going out there and trying to find something, like a diamond in the rough, if you will. And his family drama, Adam Sandler's family drama. And then I forget who the actor is there who plays his like rival, this young hotshot. Let's see. I think it's Anthony Edwards, plays Kermit Wiltz. I believe that's his name, and he's an NBA player. He plays like the villain to Bo Cruz's character because he knows how to push his buttons. And just, I love basketball. I love sports dramas in general. And I love seeing Adam Sandler do these dramas. Like I said, Uncut Gems, fantastic. And this was another movie that I just love so much. So Hustle is my number 4 of 2022.
Well, gotta love when this happens because don't have to change. Well, I will change the graphic. Let me change the graphic. There. Number 4 is also Hustle, man. Yeah. I love when Adam Sandler goes dramatic here. Even when the movie's not 100, I think he's really good in it, like Rain Over Me or Spanglish here. But then when it's great, like A Punch Drunk Love, Uncut Gems, and now Hustle, I think he absolutely shines. I'm still holding out maybe some hope that he's been ignored for Uncut Gems and Punch Drunk Love, etc. That maybe an Oscar, maybe somehow maybe we'll show him some love because he's that good in this here, man. The love of basketball shines through here. And I'm not even necessarily a basketball lover, though it is my second favorite sport because of Space Jam. But yeah, I love everything at play here, man. It's sometimes it becomes a little cliched, but it's also one of those movies where I definitely argue, but they do it so well here because of the cast and because of the way it's shot. Great casting of the real life basketball players, as you said, both the rival and the main trainee. They're both really good at this here, man. Never, I think, would you ever question like, oh, they just casted him simply because he's a basketball star? No, they casted him because they're also really good actors here. So good stuff here. Queen Latifah, even though the one girl from Saturday Night Live is kind of an assistant, she's really good in this. I actually look forward to seeing more of her. So I dug it as well. Number 4, Hustle, as we're now in our top 3.
And my number 3, you may have spoken about already. I am a sucker for this man's films. In my opinion, he has made 3 movies. They're all 4.5 stars or better for me, which I don't think there's another filmmaker that their first 3 movies I have that highly regarded. And that is Jordan Peele, Nope. Jordan Peele's Nope, not Jordan Peele, Nope. That's not what the movie's called. This was a movie when it was coming out. They released the initial trailer, and I vented about this in a video on my channel. The initial trailer came out. It just gave you enough tease, like, what is this about? Like, what is going on in this film? And then they put out another trailer where they gave way too much of the film away. Probably the trailer you're going to put on right now. So if you haven't seen Nope, I just don't watch this. Maybe this is the initial trailer. This might be. But I would sit in theaters and like close my eyes and cover my ears because I didn't want anything else spoiled for me. And what we got was was it a Western? Was it a horror? Was it a sci-fi? Was it a thriller? Was it a comedy? Yes, it was all five of those. Probably one of the coolest slash creepiest opening scenes I've seen in a long time in a film. A shoe standing upright stands out in my brain and probably will be etched there for a long time. And then just like a funny film, but with, man, there was just so many like twists and turns, and the film looked absolutely gorgeous. I went and saw it in IMAX because it was shot in IMAX. There's shout outs to IMAX in the film. You mentioned Kiki Palmer being amazing in this movie, which she absolutely is, and Daniel Kaluuya. I also want to mention Stephen Yen, who is awesome in the movie, and Brandon Perea, I believe, who's the comic relief of the movie. He basically works at the Best Buy equivalent. I don't even know what the store was called, and he wants to install the cameras and becomes like the comedic relief in the film. And man, I think one of the coolest visuals occur for me in this movie. A particular scene, I won't get into spoilers, but it has the house on like a certain substance coming around the house. Just I remember being in the movies and just being like, what is like this is nuts. And I'm right with you. Get Out, I don't think is going to be matched by him in a long time. That could be Get Out could be one of the most important slash best movies of the 2000s, in my opinion. A movie that gets better on rewatches. Us, I need to revisit, but I enjoyed Us quite a bit. But I think this popped right over Us for me. And man, Jordan Peele is the real deal, and he's teased a possible Nope universe, which I'm intrigued by. I definitely just can't wait to see what Jordan Peele does next. I mean, he's next level right now with his filmmaking. He's 3 for 3 in my opinion. So that's my number 3.
His next gonna be Keanu 2. Now I'll do what you did, which is a movie you did already. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Yeah, man, you kind of set the precedent for this earlier here. It's the best multiverse movie we got this year. Not to knock on the other one here, but it's unique. You mentioned some hot dog fingers, which is actually disturbed me, but that's a separate point here. But a great performance here by the husband, who we haven't seen in a long time here. What a great comeback that would be. This dude's going to be busy for the next few years if he wants to be. If not, probably going to walk into an Oscar nomination, it seems like. Yeah, just the world building here, man. It's one of those movies that has almost multiple endings, but you're with it each and every time here as it keeps kind of getting more and more dramatic here. One of the best, probably the best scene ever of two rocks having a conversation. By God, how I was invested in two rocks chit-chatting back and forth. Yeah, it's unique, it's special. It's another one that lives up to the hype because I think this came out like right around the time I was kind of like moving and like kind of busy in life, and so I did see this when it was kind of on video on demand and as well, and it's still very much lived up to everything I'd kind of heard about before here. I think it's one that we can go back to for years to come. It's probably one that I should see again, do another viewing of, and hey, who doesn't love an everything bagel? I know I do. Number 3, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Man, my number 2 is tough. I'm sitting here looking at the movie I'm about to talk about, and the more I think about it, it's probably really my number 1. It has really stuck with me over the last like 3 weeks I've seen it. But I'm sure you have the graphic pre-typed, so I don't want to screw you up.
I've never looked at your list. I'm typing it now. No.
Oh, okay. Well, then you know what? We're calling an audible right now because like I said, I'm sitting here looking at it. My number 2 is a movie you talked about already, and that is Joseph Kosinski's Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick, I've seen the original a few times. I actually wanted to show RJ the movie because he kind of was interested in the sequel. He's the previous mentioned 12-year-old son that I mentioned earlier. He was intrigued by the sequel, and I am a massive fan of Miles Teller. I've seen, I think, all but 2 of his movies, maybe 3. Obviously, a particular movie of his is kind of connected to my number one movie, but Miles Teller is awesome in this movie as what Rooster he goes by, and Tom Cruise obviously being the insane showman that he is, flying these jets, and the amount of craziness that all the actors went into. Like, all these scenes that you're seeing in the film are the actors are up in this plane, and the filmmaker had to get the shots timed at the perfect time because the actors can only handle being in the jets for so long before they would pass out, get sick. So they have to act while they're doing these crazy stunts. And obviously, Tom Cruise is flying, the rest aren't. And it is just, it's a funny movie. It is action. I remember getting misty-eyed at certain parts of the film. You'd mentioned the love story with Jennifer Connelly. Probably the weakest part of the movie for me, but I understand why they did it. For the plot, John Hamm is really funny. Not funny, but as like the head in charge admiral who Tom Cruise is still trying to be his renegade, self, being a maverick, if you will. And I remember seeing this in IMAX and just this is the quintessential movie. I told everybody, they're like, I kind of want to see what is this? A commercial? What are we watching commercial for? Top Gun.
I don't know what happened. Just keep on.
The quintessential movie. Like, go see this on a big screen. Like you said, probably the movie that really saved theaters. Although obviously stuff like Black Panther and now Avatar have really helped. But this was at a time where there hadn't really been a huge blockbuster, and Top Gun Maverick held number one for like week upon week. People were taking, people to the movies that only go to the movies like once every 6 years. And why are people rushing us, man? And yeah, so
it's my fault. Don't worry.
Do you have trivia? Top Gun Maverick.
I have to host something. It's all good. Jacob's a good start.
That's my number two. I'm done.
Okay. Like I said, don't you worry. That's my fault for us starting late. I couldn't figure out that damn intro. I worked on it. It
looks beautiful though, so I'm glad you got to work.
Thank you. I totally made all of it myself. Number two is Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I just had so much fun with this Nicolas Cage flick. We just saw the recent trailer of Renfield, so hopefully he'll be getting some more mainstream fun roles here because he is absolutely great as Nicolas Cage in this movie. The role he was born to play here. It's funny. It celebrates movies, which of course it controls my life. So, always a fan of a movie that just loves other movies. You got the Paddington 2 reference here. I've never enjoyed Pedro Pascal more than I have in this movie here. Considering I kind of hated him in The Bubble, even though I also hated The Bubble. He's so charming and so fun in this here. There's a long section of the movie where you think he's a drug lord and like a horrible person too. And you're still like, I'm really charmed by him. I want to hang out with him, even though I think he might be a murderer. Tiffany Haddish is good in a side character here. Her and Ike Barinholtz, popping a little bit here, but it's definitely kind of just the bond of these two here. It does become an action movie at the end, which I know some people I kind of iffy on, but I had fun because then it's a fun little action movie for the last bit of it, which I think it should be as the way they were leading to it. So I had so much fun with this here. I love the premise of it. I love Nicolas Cage talking to Nicolas Cage is some of my favorite scenes of the year here. So Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, as we are now at the ultimate favorite movie of the year, one that Rick actually called an audible to change his list. What did you change your number one to?
So you may know, I'm a massive fan of the movie La La Land. I thought La La Land was a fantastic film. Whiplash, amazing movie. Miles Teller, and First Man. That's why I didn't
saw that one actually.
That's why I didn't include this particular director in the first three movies being just masterpieces. But he definitely ramped it up. Damien Chazelle with his new movie Babylon, which is my number one film of the year. Basically, I would say I would describe this movie to somebody as if Boogie Nights had a baby with The Wolf of Wall Street and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and they basically had a giant sex orgy, which is basically the first 35 minutes of this movie. Spoiler alert. This movie is going to offend some people. I will say that there's a scene 10 minutes in that I've read people say they wanted to walk out of the theater once it happened. But you have a 3 hour and 10-minute movie, which really scared me going in. I was worried when I saw the runtime was 3 hours and 10 minutes, but you get amazing performances by Brad Pitt as usual anymore. Diego Calva, who it's my understanding he actually learned how to speak English to get this role. And the real standout in this film for me is Margot Robbie. And like I said, it's basically about the beginnings of talkies and the movie star and a love story to cinema, kind of how you mentioned Unbearable Weight of Truth. This is definitely like a love story, but also a sad tale of how Hollywood's just cycling through, you know, they're just looking for the next thing, whether it's the next type of movie, the next movie star. And man, just like I said, I saw this movie probably like 2-3 weeks ago, and I can't wait to revisit it. It's one that, like I said, I was looking at my letterbox, like I had all my movies up, and just looking at the poster and the front cover, it was a wild movie, but also just it's a love letter to Hollywood. And Damien Chazelle, there's a lot of jazz music tie-ins in the film as well. I'm trying to remember. There's a character who plays like a jazz musician that becomes a movie star as well. Kind of gave me vibes to like the La La Land, you know, with the club and the music in Whiplash. And Damien Chazelle is now like 3 of 4 of the movies he's put out are 5-star movies for me. And I don't give out 5-star. Like the only movies I give 5 stars to are this and Top Gun Maverick. And I've given 3 of his 4 movies 5-star reviews. So whatever he's doing, I don't know if it's just like I'm drawn to it and it sucks me in, or if I don't know. But the movie's amazing. There's lots of fun cameos in there. You saw Tobey Maguire in the trailer, Flea, Gene Smart, Olivia Wilde, Patrick Fugit, Eric Roberts. There's so many familiar faces in the film, and it's just a really, really good time. So a really crazy time. Like I said, 10 minutes in, something happens, and some people are just going to be like, nah, this isn't for me. So, but for me, I loved it, and I would have taken a 5-hour movie. That's how into the movie I was.
No, good to hear. That's a blind spot for me. I haven't gotten to it. It's a pretty newer one. I definitely want to. I've heard some different things, but I feel like I've been hearing more good, especially from people that I actually kind of like, like hearing their opinion on. So it's definitely one I do want to check out because never saw First Man, but I love everything else.
Critics didn't seem to love this one. It has like the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score for Chazelle by like 40%, which I said to my girlfriend, like, we both loved it, and I was like, did I miss something? Like that was amazing. Like I said, for me, length in film, I feel like a lot of movies overstay their welcome anymore, and this I could have sat there another hour, 2 hours and watched the story that was on screen. So
no, I'm with you, man. No, that's definitely one I do want to see. Hopefully I'll actually would like to get to a theater, hopefully, and see it. My number 1 movie of the year. Yeah, you talked about it, so you liked it a bit too. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. I was excited from the get-go here because I had a lot of fun with the first one. I'm almost too afraid to say because I feel like I want to watch it again, maybe sit on it. But I think I had more fun even with this one here. I love the cast that's at play. You've mentioned everybody here from Janelle Monáe kind of stealing the show, and there's a twist with her character too that she really gets to kind of steal the show when you get to see some of the stuff that she's at play here as well. And everybody has their moments. There's even like the assistant to Catherine Hahn who like has her moments as well here. Batista, who Ryan Johnson said is the best pro wrestler turned actor here as well. Everybody is here to play, and Ed Norton too. Like, you know, if you haven't seen him in a minute, you know, because I know a lot of people didn't see him with Liz Brooklyn and whatnot. Like, you're reminded too of how entertaining and good he can be. I hope we get these every few years. You know, this is a role Daniel Craig can play in his 70s and his 80s. You know what I mean? Like, let's not stop, man. This is, you know, I liked Death on the Nile, but this is to me so much more up my alley here because it is the mystery just updated here. You know, I mean, this is a 2020s mystery, and you know, and Daniel Craig is so good here. You mentioned there's even like some COVID laughs here with the mesh mask, and even Catherine Hahn's doing the mask diaper on her chin at one point, but it's not overly selling it. You know, I mean, then like you said, once they get to the island, we were able to kind of ignore that here, but it's funny when they get to it early on. Even the intro with the boxes, how everyone's trying to solve the box is funny, and there's some great laughs in this here. I was pretty relatively, like you said, as far as the mystery itself, is it the greatest one? No, but like I was still wrapped up enough. I had enough fun where I tried not overthinking it and just kind of rolling with it, and I had a lot of fun here. I did see this in theaters. Luckily, my theater didn't die in the middle of the movie here, and in fact, and just to kind of show that I think how fun this is too. Like, this was, I think, the only movie of the year that like the entire family was out, man. It was me, it was my brother, it was, you know, I was just saying my nieces, not my nieces. No, that's not right. But but like everyone else, like, you know, grandma, stuff like that kind of came out. So, and everyone walked away, I think, liking it. I walked away loving it. So, and Ryan Johnson, I don't think has had a misstep yet. Even Brothers Bloom or like Last Jedi, which are his lower ones, I still enjoy, and I like what he did with it. And I love Brick. I love this a lot. So looking forward to more of him, more of this character from Daniel Craig. More. Let's hear that 10 one more time, Rick.
Oh man, I wasn't ready for that. Hold on. But while I'm pulling up my letterboxd, I will say that you're right in Knives Out being a movie that, like, RJ was a big fan of the original, and Glass Onion was right there. Like, it was something he could watch and we could watch as a family. There's a few things that are a little raunchy, but there's nothing like overly vulgar and
it's not too crazy
inappropriate. So my number 10 was Pleasure. Number 9, Glass Onion, Knives Out Story. Number 8, Bodies. 7, Cha Cha Real Smooth. 6, The Menu. 5, Everything Everywhere All at Once. 4, Hustle. 3, Nope. 2, Top Gun Maverick. And number 1, Babylon were my top 10.
Very good. Let me rumble through mine here. And there's my letterboxd. Follow me, Ben Affleck. Number 10, The Black Phone. Number 9, Top Gun Maverick. 8, Nope. 7, The Batman. 6, The Banshees of Inisherin. Number 5, Bullet Train. Number 4, Hustle. 3, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Number 2, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Number 1, Glass Out and Knives Out Mystery. Those are the films we loved in 2022. Hey, let us know in the comments what you loved in 2022. Did we leave anything off? Are we horrible human beings for not saying A, B, or C? Or are we horrible human beings for having what we had in our top 10? I don't know. I'm sure you'll say it. So, Rick, any plugs, parting words?
You guys can check out my YouTube channel at Down to Movie. I do pickup videos. I used to do review videos. Those have stopped. So pickups in this massive movie collection that's behind me that you guys can probably kind of see. You can also see my chair. I will actually, you know what? This video is going to go live. I'll drop a new video Tuesday the 10th. So you guys will see a new pickup video. I'll drop it Tuesday the 10th in the morning. And like I said, basically pickup videos, what's, you know, in my collection. I'm also planning some fun videos for the new year. Maybe like my Criterion collection. I kind of want to have a really cool idea for a video that hopefully inspires other movie YouTube guys to do. I'm not going to spoil that just yet, but it's going to be a fun one. Maybe something about a life in film. But yeah, that's it. Check me out, youtube.com/downtomovie, DOWNTOMOVIE.
And where you can find me, JPO, here, right here. like, subscribe. Also at Pierce Wrestling, if you like wrestling stuff, follow me over there. Yes, DTM with Rick.
We're not doing trivia. Oh, my bad.
Who stars as the Joker in the Batman? Make sure your spelling's correct. That's correct. 12,000 points and your new heavyweight champion, Rick. So like, subscribe to his channel. We're coming for you. I know you're watching, Steve. Like, subscribe, tell a friend, tell an enemy. Thanks for watching, and hey, we love you. More than you'll ever know.